Hello and welcome to the data science discussion. In this video, we are going to look at what is data science, what is the importance of data science in the industry, what profile should a data science learner have even before the learner actually begins studying data science, what are some of the skill sets, must-have skill sets of a successful data scientist, and lastly, what are the learning steps when you want to embark on learning data science. So hopefully this video will try to answer some of those doubts that people have with regards to what is this subject, and this has become such a huge buzzword nowadays that everybody wants to know about this subject. So let's try to simplify some of those in the next few slides. So what is data science? It is nothing but a practice that drives data-driven decisions. I'm going to explain what that means. If you look at the three pictures on the right hand side, you see there's a discussion going on where it appears that a person is pointing out a certain issue that is being observed within the business. The second picture looks like a person who is noting down various points being given to her as a problem to solve. And then the third picture is about someone who's looking into various graphs and numbers and trying to draw insights, and we can see the word analysis on the picture itself, right? So now let's look at the cycle which drives any data science project or any data science engagement. The cycle really starts with a business problem. You see, any business will have questions connected to the different business problems that they are experiencing, and that is really where the project for any data scientist starts, right? So when a problem is given, it comes to a data scientist. It may be an observation connected to profitability, it may be an observation connected to business growth, it could be very simple observations connected to customer behavior, it can be a range of issues that the business is facing. Whatever they are, they come to a data scientist as it is, and the expectation is clearly communicated to a data scientist that, okay, I want the profitability to grow up by 5%, can you help me get there? I want the next campaign to generate a 2% increase in my responses. Is it possible for you to help me get there? So these kind of questions will come to a data scientist. Now, what does a data scientist do? A data scientist is supposed to not only understand the problem, but also ask relevant questions so that the business problem can be successfully brought down to an analytical problem. Now, once the business problem is broken down into an analytical problem, this is the stage where the data scientist is going to apply the concepts of data science on the data. Okay, this is very important because now the problem is that of a mathematical or an analytical problem, and this is where some of those concepts that people often talk about, they are going to be applied here. Once those concepts are applied, the last stage is the most important stage where data-driven recommendations reach back to the business via the data scientist. And this is what I was talking about a moment ago, that data science is the practice that drives data-driven decisions. It really is the bedrock for the practice itself, becomes the bedrock for creating that culture of using data to come up with insights for the business so that they can benefit from it and solve the business problem. Okay, next what we will do is we will see what is the importance of data science, right? Why is it important? I can understand that, okay, people have this entire cycle where they start with a business problem, they go into an analytical problem, and then apply data science and then recommendations. But why is it important? What can it do for various businesses? Let's have a look. Importance of data science. The importance of data science lies in the fact that this is a practice, this is a concept that you can apply in building customer lifecycle strategies. So you can build strategies, or you can build solutions throughout the customer lifecycle. What are some of those use cases? Let's have a look at that. The first cycle is reach, where we are generating leads and we are reaching out to different customers. We are forming strategies to reach out to customers, right? So what are some of the use cases that leads to interesting data science projects and machine learning? They can be, I have a couple of them listed here for you. So the first one is lead generation across product lines, and the second one is matching customer profiles to marketing channels. There could be a range of other use cases also, but these are a couple of examples for you to start understanding what this part of the customer life cycle can bring to a data scientist as a project. What we mean by lead generation across product lines is that if you have, say, multiple products, 5-6 products, right, and you're working for a company that has that kind of range of products, are you generating leads by way of the potential audiences or potential customers? Can you do that using machine learning? Of course you can. People do using data science and machine learning, but this is an area which leads to projects. Matching customer profiles to marketing channels. Not every kind of marketing will appeal to different every kind of customer, so you have to match the right customer profile to the different marketing channels. Next comes the phase which we call as acquisition phase or acquire. Over here, customers have favorably responded to you reaching out to them. Okay, now it's up to the business to assess what happens if I approve this particular customer, right? Now, is there going to be a risk to the business? If so, can we quantify that risk? Imagine that you're working as a data scientist for a bank, right? You received an offer that, okay, there's a particular credit card in the market, and please come, please apply for the credit card, and you do that. Now what the bank is supposed to do is they are going to assess the risk of approving you as a customer. Then that can be a big use case for data science. Another use case that comes to the mind is projecting customer lifetime value. Now if the customer is acquired, right, what is the total value that the business can derive out of this customer over a period of time? Can we project that? So that is a second use case. The third use case is offering the right product to the right customer, right? So if a customer has, say, called you for essentially, say, imagine it's a car company, it's an automobile company, and the customer actually goes and says, okay, I want to buy a car, this is my budget, etc. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, can you help me figure out the right product for me? So we see that people do this kind of discussions on a one-on-one basis, but if you say have to provide this kind of recommendation that, okay, this is the product for you or at scale, then you really need to have data science and machine learning level automation for you as a business. Then comes the question of engagement. Now once the acquisition is done, once we have successfully acquired the customers, what we really want is them to engage with the business so that the business can continue to derive value from the customers, right? So over here, use cases range from developing engagement strategies to emphasize product value prioritization. So you would not try to reach out to everybody to re-emphasize the product value. Only those customers who are either low engaged right now or showing signs of becoming low engaged in the next 6 months, you really want to go after them and tell them that, oh, by the way, you have purchased this particular product, or you have chosen to go with this this particular product, and there's a value proposition attached to it. Maybe we are essentially re-emphasizing that for you. So that kind of messaging really drives engagement. It's a good strategy, but in order to get there, at the heart of it lies effective data science application. Benchmarking, diversification. This is an important use case where we think that a customer, when we try to compare two customers, we have to really think about the product purchased by that customer, and then how different benchmarking processes can be put in place so that one premium customer for a particular product can be compared with a premium customer of a different product, and then strategies can be devised accordingly. Next thing that businesses want to do is, once they have an engaging portfolio of customers, they want their business to grow. They want the portfolios or product portfolios to grow. Now, it is a well-known fact that acquiring new customers is actually much more costly than going after the existing customers. Therefore, we have concepts like cross-sell and upsell, and these are concepts that are successfully exploited by businesses across the globe, but they are not going to be able to do it without machine learning and data science to help them guide through. Of course, with basic business understanding, you can reach to a certain level of efficiency. You can essentially grow it to a certain degree, but if you want to do it with precision and effectiveness and good management, you would want to involve data science and machine learning. And how will that help you? What are some of the use cases? Like we said, cross-sell and upsell is important. The second thing is communicating marketing offers. Like, what kind of offers do you want to give to people? Then deploying recommendation engines at large. So these are three use cases that I want to share with you. it in the growth space within the customer life cycle. And lastly, we have retain. So imagine a particular customer is not very happy with the offers or with the the customer engagement, or whatever be the reason. The customer wants to go away from the business and really wants to take away the subscription and probably move on. So at that stage, businesses, what they want to do is figure out what is the profitability if this customer is actually retained by the business, right? And can we find out that if this customer is successfully retained, then what is the future growth potential? Then once we are able to do all of those things successfully, we can then build retention product bundles, and then essentially reach out to the people and say that, okay, we understand that you're not really happy, can we offer this for you as well? And we can only have that conversation successfully with the end customer if the back-end data science, if it is backed by the machine learning and data science. Only then we can have that kind of conversation, because we really want that kind of intelligence, I really want that kind of insight to come from the data that the customer has generated with the business before applying for an iteration. Okay, now next what we will do is we'll try to look at the profile of a data science learner. What kind of skills or what kind of characteristics a person should have in order to be a successful data science learner? Let's have a look. Affinity for numbers, absolutely must have. So the individual must have a flair for numbers. Individual must be able to figure out numerical trends and patterns. The willingness to work with numbers must already exist before the person decides to build a career in data science. Then comes the analytical mindset. It's very important that the individual who wants to study data science comes with a mindset which is analytical and which allows the person to seek insights from the data, right? So there is no answers that are going to be given to you. You need to look into the data, dig into the numbers and come up with insights. Finally, once you draw those insights, you should be able to link and label them to the outcome. So do you have that kind of mindset or not, right? So that's important. Then being open to ideas. Why is this important? Because most often the data scientists, they work in teams, and it's important to be able to brainstorm with your team in order to come up with a plan for the project. And then when you reach out to the business to lay out the plan, you will obviously have to explain the analytical plan. And then at that stage, it's important to provide multiple options. You need to have multiple line of attack for different plans that are there, and only then you should be able to convince the business partners that, okay, this is how we are approaching the problem, and within this timeline we are going to get back to you, and so on. So being open to ideas, it may not come to you naturally. You may be not able to think all of everything on your own. That's why it's important to work in a team, and it's important to brainstorm out solutions rather than having a very individual or a silo-centric mindset to an approach towards work. Stepping out of comfort zone, very important for a person to already have this mindset, because you need to regularly step out of your comfort zone and be open to new learning. Every single project will bring some new learning or the other. Okay, how do you learn is important, because that will determine how you perform. Because if you're not able to learn effectively, your performance is not going to be as effective as it should be. And so you can chart out this journey only when you're ready to step out of your comfort zone on a regular basis, and that's important. The second most important thing to talk about within the stepping out of comfort zone is being ready to fail. A data scientist must be mentally prepared to completely fail. What I mean by saying this is that you've thought of a particular analytical framework, okay, you've thought of applying a certain kind of algorithm to solve this problem, and then you already know that, okay, if you get a solution from this algorithm, you would assess the solution in order to see if it really helps the business or not. Over here, based on your analysis, be prepared to see that your solutions don't work, and you have to maybe you have to start from scratch all over again. This has happened a number of times. This has happened a number of times in my case, Like for example, I can go back in time, say in in April 2012, we started a project and we didn't even know what the outcome is going to look like. We took about a month to actually determine, okay, what's going to be the objective of the particular project and what we are trying to achieve. So by that time, there were multiple solutions already made, and that's one single project taught me a lot, that as a data scientist, I should be ready to fail and I should be ready to start afresh every single time. So having patience is important for a learner. Now with that, let's look at what are some of the must-have skills for a data scientist. 4 basic skills that every successful data scientist must possess, and everybody who wants to learn data science as the next career move must keep in mind, and they need to be able to keep all of these things in mind, and therefore move on in a directed fashion. Conceptualize essentially means, can I take a problem, have develop some understanding about the particular problem, and then break that problem down into different branches. Now if you see the picture, it may look just like a picture, but it really signifies different branches. So it's, in fact, it is a picture of a branch, and what we're trying to say over here is that when you conceptualize a problem, you should be able to break down the problem into small parts. Now with each part you will probably do some individual analysis, and then when you bring together all of these things, integrate insights from each of these things, you will come up with a consolidated solution. But if you're not able to conceptualize a problem, if you're not able to break it down into parts, you would not be able to make progress as a data science. Therefore, this becomes a very important must-have skill among the 4 basic skills. Secondly, statistics and ML. Very important for a data scientist to have in the skill set kitty, because statistics and ML are processes, or you can think of them as subjects that will give you the necessary skills or necessary learning of various tools that you can apply on the data in order to come up with your final models or final predictive solutioning. So having a good handle over statistics and ML concepts is very important. Once you conceptualize a problem, you would want to find out, okay, what concept or which particular algorithm or which particular methodology you need to apply to which part of your conceptualization framework. And this is where, if you go back to the earlier point that we had talked about, this is where data is going to meet methodology. So statistics and ML is all about methodology, and the conceptualization part is all about the given data broken down into different parts. Next comes programming. Once you have conceptualized, you have decided, okay, I will be applying these techniques over these paths. Now the application, the exact application, the actual application and building of the solution will happen through programming. So here's a snapshot of a Python program, signifying that programming is also a must-have skill for any data scientist who wants to be successful in their career. And lastly, I have saved the most important part for the last. It's called communication. Absolutely essential for any data scientist, because the project, the outcomes of your analysis, if you want the outcomes to actually go through and get deployed, the business people that you're working with, they need to understand what you have done. They need to be able to appreciate the concept. They need to be able to appreciate the rigor and the outcome and the value that your outcome is going to bring to the business. Now, if you're not able to communicate to them in a language that they understand, this can be a challenge. So therefore, as a successful data scientist, when we think of 4 basic skills that a data scientist has and we want to enlist them, we start with conceptualization of a problem. We then move into statistics and ML skills. We then go into programming, and we end with communication. And if you look at the flow of these 4 basic skills, you will relate to it with a project flow, because that's how different projects actually work through. So if the project will start with the conceptualization of a problem, then you will try to see what is the diagnosis of this problem and what kind of solution you want to really apply, and then comes the building of the solution, and finally communicating of the solution. So here we have discussed the 4 basic skill set. I hope this was useful. Next, what we will do is we will get into a little bit deeper into what each step mean, and then what are actually the learning steps for a data scientist to successfully learn and develop his or her own career. The learning steps of a data scientist starts with coding. What do I mean by this? I mean that you have to develop three basic skills. First, being able to extract data, and this is where SQL comes into play. Being able to apply statistical analysis using R, and then being able to apply machine learning and develop machine learning solutions using Python. So if you're able to successfully extract data, if you have the ability to apply statistical concepts, although you can do that in Python also, but R somehow is a better statistical tool to work with, so that's why I have enlisted R. Now if you really think about it in a nutshell, it starts with extracting of data and then building of the solution. So this is where coding becomes important, and that should be the starting point for any data scientist to really embark on the learning journey. In the next part of the learning journey, we find data wrangle and visualization. So data wrangle and visualization is an important step because it allows a data scientist to convert an observation into an insight. If you learn visualization, you can choose the right graph for choosing the kind of insight that you want to communicate. If you happen to be good at visualization, you will be able to engineer features for your models in a better way. You will be able to visually engineer features and then use them in the model for enhancement of model performance. What this will also do is your ability to visualize data. You can use this to communicate and articulate your solution or your insight to the business leaders. Next comes statistics, very important. We touched upon this in the previous slide, but what we will do is we'll get into deeper as to what topics are we talking about. Now, statistics is a vast subject. So we start with probability theory. So in order to understand and appreciate the concepts of machine learning, it all starts with probability theory. So as a data scientist, as a student in data scientist, you should have concepts of probability theories, and that's where you should start really learning stats. Then when it comes to studying statistics, the next thing you should do is go through probability distributions. If you have a good sense of probability distributions, you can solve a lot of problems using those concepts. Hypothesis testing, extremely important. It has a range of use cases, especially in marketing and also within the clinical space, where hypothesis testing is regularly used to derive meaningful insights about statistical significance. I'm not going to get into the details of what statistical significance actually mean, but it is a part of statistics that you should learn in order to gain that kind of expertise. Inferential statistics, important to learn because it will help you figure out, okay, if I look at a small sample of data, then how can I use that sample to create insights about the wider population of the data. So what I mean is that, okay, you've taken only a few instances or a few customers, or say only a certain set of products, and you want to figure out, okay, if I had taken the entire universe of customers, then what would have been the results, or what would have been the impact. So being able to do that successfully is also important. Then comes correlation and regression. Now this is really the bedrock of machine learning, because this is where you start to relate various quantities as influencing factors of one another. So if you are studying, say, regression, it's important to realize that, okay, you're talking about an independent feature which is going to drive the output of a dependent variable. Correlation really means the degree of linear relationship. So are features correlated amongst themselves? Does knowing about one feature automatically means knowing something about the other feature or not? Then comes machine learning algorithms. So over here there is a range of things that you are going to learn. So in order to summarize, we've got supervised and unsupervised algorithms. We need to have a strong idea about both supervised and unsupervised algorithms. Then when we study machine learning algorithms, we've got to learn how to solve a business problem, how to break down a business problem into an analytical problem. So the journey from a business problem to an analytical problem, and then finally applying the right algorithm within the machine learning kitty, is important. And once you do that, once you are able to apply the algorithm and you are able to create a model, how do you create a solution framework for the business, right? So if you're, say for example, if you go back, like for, we saw in the earlier slide that there was a picture of a branch which signified the idea of conceptualization and then breaking a problem down into parts, right? So within the machine learning algorithm section, you should also learn how to tackle each part and how to create a solution framework, so that when you hand over your solution to the business, they are able to use it to derive the insights that they're looking for, and they also have the ability to drill down into different parts where you have individually analyzed, and therefore the insight becomes highly customized, and therefore the customers can be of the businesses, they can be served a lot better. Finally comes the art of communicating effectively. So I often like to think of data science as a field where art and science have met, and they have met and they have become the best of friends. So why do I perceive it this way? It's because so far, if you look at the four learning steps, it's mostly science. We are talking about coding, we're talking about visualization, statistics, machine learning algorithm. We are going to talk about the art part, or the communicate effectively part over here. And why this is important is because it's, as you think of data science as a career move, do not only think of the career move at the beginning, also consider the building of a long-term career. So when you think of using data science as a field to build a long-term career, you need to be an effective communicator. Otherwise, people are not going to be able to appreciate what you have done, the outcome of your model. No matter how hard you work to create the solution, people need to be able to appreciate what you've done, and that comes where you master the art of communicating effectively through the numbers. So a couple of things to keep in mind here is that you're going to interpret the outcome of your ML models. So sometimes interpretation becomes a challenge for non-technical people who haven't really gone through the data science journey, but happens to be a leader. That is more often than not. So how do we interpret the outcome of machine learning models? That's important. And how do you recommend strategies based on the machine learning outcome? So for example, if you have say determined the right product to offer to the right kind of customers using a recommendation engine, then the strategy is that now this recommendation engine, when you apply, do you apply blindly to all customers who come onto your website, or do you want to offer it to the right kind of customers? So only a certain section of your customers get to see this, or everybody sees this, right? So a simple question like that can be answered in so many ways using machine learning, and then you have to recommend a strategy. Well, this brings us to the end of the data science discussion, where we spoke about things like what is data science, what should be the profile of a learner, what skill sets a data science possesses, and finally, what are the learning steps of a data scientist. Well, I hope this video clarifies some of your doubts, and we'll see you in the next one, where we'll talk about different topics. We'll take individual topics and we'll discuss that in detail. Okay, till then, bye bye.